felt a great disturbance in the force, as if millions of voices suddenly cried out in terror and were suddenly silenced. I feel something terrible has happened.
Welcome, Realm family, to another episode of Wrestling with the Realm podcast. I'm Brian, and I'm one half of the power and glory of wrestling podcasts. And on the other side is the Hercules to my Paul Roma. It's my guy, Will. Will, what are we talking about?
What's going on, everyone? I'm sitting in front of you as a speechless John Cena fan, if I can call myself that still. Um, Guys, we had to get on right away, and we will be talking about the rest of the Elimination Chamber in another video. But this right here, this is Hogan, NWO. This is Austin and McMahon. This deserves its own podcast in and of itself. To me, this is the greatest heel turn of all time. But as a wrestling fan that grew up, hustle, loyalty, respect. I mean, I was the biggest John Cena guy in the world. I am hurt. There was a part, the little kid in me is hurting right now, yelling at the TV screen, "Why, John? Why?"
Oh,
And I mean,
little
this
big boss man was beside himself.
oh my gosh. It was just awful, man. It was awful to watch happen. But let's get into the whole segment from the beginning before I'm so destroyed about this as a job. The little kid inside of me is done. He's gone forever. His hero turned bad, and it's just man, it hurt me. It hurt me, Brian. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I know it did. I was thinking to myself as it was happening, Will again was ahead of me in the pay-per-view. So he was like, just text me when you're done. And I got to the end and I knew my heart was breaking for my guy Will, because just like just listening to a lot of what people have been talking about, if Cena were to turn, that people seemed like it was just going to be blasphemy that would happen. That I love this. So I'll put my cards out there. I love this. I don't have the tie to John Cena as a kid. So for me, I don't have that piece to it. But as the wrestling fan in me, I love this. Like this is so like this is the type of swerve that Russo would be, it's the swerve, bro. And he would be over the moon about it, because going into this match, all the talk when we're talking about who's going to turn, we're talking about Cody as the obvious choice.
Mm-hmm.
CM Punk could be there because there's been some groundwork laid for that. And then you really cycle down to John Cena, but the general thought is that John Cena is kind of untouchable. He's the ultimate babyface. He's coming back for his retirement tour, and it's going to be a feel-good story. I mean, you and I talked about it on our very first podcast with Blue Sky Booking WrestleMania, and we were talking about how you end night one with Cody and Cena, and it's a feel-good. Cena wins his 17th championship. They're both faces, but, you know, two baby faces can come out on top. Like that was back then what we were talking about. So I feel like getting to that last night, you always felt like John Cena had plot armor, that there was no chance of him turning. So we put all of our focus onto all the other suspects, and that's what makes it so good. Is that we had so many other choices that it could have been. We always just assumed it wouldn't be Cena. And that's what the crazy part is that it was John Cena, the ultimate babyface, made his heel turn. And I mean, we kind of talked about it on our Final Boss podcast. You know, we started going through the groundwork that's been laid for CM Punk was doing some stuff. The Cody stuff is obvious, but then you had John Cena, and we talked about how when you go back to the press conference after Royal Rumble, everything seems obvious at this point. Like everything kind of came together and makes sense with Cena turning. The groundwork has been laid. The Rock with this final boss character, I think they're finally. I think the final boss character is finally taking shape. We
Yeah.
literally are doing the thing where I think we touched on this too, a podcast ago on that final boss one, that we're taking Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, and the final boss, and they're making him one character. So now you have this amalgam of Dwayne Johnson, the movie star, The Rock, the wrestling character, and the final boss, this ultimate heel. And they're kind of putting those all together now, where you have like all of that kind of makes sense now, where you take The Rock on the premiere of Raw, and he's hugging Cody, and he's acting in that board member capacity, but he also has that little bit
Yeah.
of just kind of not swarmy, but just kind of that Hollywood type that is Dwayne Johnson, but he also still has a little bit of The Rock. Like it's all intentional now. Like all of that, I feel like kind of makes sense. I get what this character is. He's a crazy, maniacal version of Dwayne Johnson, which is awesome. And now all of it kind of lines up, and I get the heel turn for John Cena. He wants to win his 17th championship. He's going to do whatever he can to get that. It's very basic motivation, but I think with John Cena being a heel now, stuff's going to get awesome. I feel like the story just got that much better.
So you texted me
Yep.
that night and you said, "Hey man, what about the bad blood thing?" And I was like, "Man, that's just you mentioned the 1, 2,
Mm-hmm.
3,
Right.
and you were like, "Well, is that just Cena's symbol? Has he always been doing that?" Dude, I go back and I watch it. I thought The Rock went, "No, he throws up this, and you want to know what he hits after
Yes,
that?
he did.
One of those.
Yep.
Exactly what he did to John Cena when John was hugging Cody."
Yep.
Sometimes, as a wrestling fan, I am wrong. A couple podcasts ago, I got on here. I told you guys, "Hey guys, don't temper your expectations. You know, this isn't. This is the build to a great storyline." No, this might be just as good, if not better, than WrestleMania 40. I mean, Triple H did again.
Yes.
This long-term storytelling
Yep.
with the 1, 2, 3 at Bad Blood is unbelievable because it
Yes.
all adds up. And all the stuff you said where it all adds up. John Cena talking about what after the Royal Rumble? Best for business. What
Yep.
is Rock talking about? Best for business. And this is exactly what you said on our final boss pod. That's the only hint we're getting from John Cena.
Yep.
But
And
it all added up.
they've been leaning into the John Cena, like even on SmackDown on Friday night, like Punk's at the top of his game, by the way. Like
Yeah, he is.
I think
Undeniable.
I think Punk may be my favorite superstar right this moment. I feel like Punk
Yeah.
is checking a lot of the boxes for me, and he was hitting on it on Friday. He's not John's not here,
Yeah.
you know. And then when he does see Cody, and he's talking to Cody in the back, and he's telling him, you tell The Rock to take his offer, shine it up real nice, turn it sideways, and he can stick it up there. Like Punk is doing such a good job of being the voice of the audience, and that's what makes him like really stand out for me right now, is because he's basically just being one of us who's in the middle of this kind of crazy story.
Yeah.
And just everybody pointing out all the John Cena stuff, even Drew McIntyre cutting his promo on
Oh my
John
God.
Cena.
Awesome.
Like all of that kind of stuff is kind of in the background building towards that John Cena thing where you do start to think, you're like, it's SmackDown. Everybody else who's in the chamber showed up. Why isn't he here? And that was kind of genius because as it happened, okay, so here's a funny story. My wife wanted to take this video, and I was like, this would have been so funny for you to put on TikTok, Will. It would have been so hilarious. So I'm in the shower and I'm listening to SmackDown on my phone. And it's right at that moment when everybody's coming out for the chamber. And she could hear me talking to my phone out
Yeah.
loud, like, oh, come on, Cena's got it. They're going to save Cena for last. And then the music hits, and I'm like, oh, God dang it. I'm missing it. I'm missing John Cena. Now, she tells me yesterday, because she's waiting for when I finally hear that it's Logan Paul, and I'm
Oh my
horribly
gosh.
devastated. I was like, oh, man, come on. And then I started laughing. I was like, oh, my God, that's amazing. That's so funny
That's
that Logan
hilarious.
Paul did that. But she's videotaping, like she's in the living room, like just so you can hear me. Because she saw Logan Paul way before
Oh,
I knew it
man.
because I was only listening. But she messed something up and didn't get it completely,
Oh,
but it was super funny. But
that's
that's a
good.
great, but that on SmackDown is a great little nugget right there, where even me, who wanted to see this John Cena run against a Cody Lander, I was saying to myself, "Oh, that's weird that he didn't show up for SmackDown. Like that's not a good look, especially when we know you didn't earn your spot in the chamber." So like they were laying down all of this groundwork for John Cena. We all just didn't want to see it because it was John Cena. We couldn't
Absolutely.
see him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it was to get into the actual segment. Everyone says, "Man, Cody Rhodes, all of his promos so predictable, so predictable." And I saw a guy on TikTok. He was doing his reaction to it, and he was like, "Yeah, he's gonna tell The Rock that his soul is given to the fans in the ring." And that's exactly what he says. He's like, "My soul is already given to this ring and these people." And Dwayne, you can go. You know what? We are a family friendly
That's right.
podcast out here. But if you want to go search it up, he uses some not so nice words that we
Yes,
don't
he
often
does.
hear in WWE on The
Yep.
Rock. And that was shocking. That made this promo feel all the more realer. The only thing about this promo that I really didn't like is what is Travis Scott doing in the ring this whole entire time. I'm gonna give you a little insight. It is me, my brother, Kate, my sister, my dad, and my girlfriend. We're all watching this, and we're just all dying laughing, wondering why, like wondering when Travis Scott is gonna leave
Yep.
the Rock alone. Like, when is he gonna leave? And he gets in the ring. And you want to know what? John Cena is giving Cody the business. You want to know what might have hurt the most? Travis Scott smacked Cody Rhodes so
Dude,
hard, man.
it was so disrespectful. But I will say this because I was wondering the same thing. I'm like, why is Travis Scott there? And then when like he puts his hand on Cody, like we're both sitting there, and my wife is thinking the same thing. She's like, "Oh, come on!" I'm like, "This is so disrespectful," but it's also
Yeah,
genius. This is all part of that weird final boss character that I was
yep,
just talking about.
absolutely.
It's that weird Hollywood celebrity thing that he's putting into this character. Why Travis Scott would be there, because it's irritating, and we all know that it's irritating, and you
Hmm.
shouldn't be doing that. Like, it's brilliant. Like the whole thing is just, it's brilliant.
Yeah, I thought this was easily. Um, I love the Royal Rumble, but this might be pay-per-view of the year. Like, this
Oh,
might top a WrestleMania. Like, this was from the women's chamber to this segment right here with the Kevin match and the Sammy match in between all of it. Like, this is one of the best segments of all time. The build up. I mean, when Cody tells The Rock off, John gives him a hug. That look in John Cena's face is 20 plus years in the making.
mm-hmm. Yep.
And as a John Cena fan, it dude, heartbreaking because I knew right away when that face changed, and he is like his movies or not, that was great acting because he isn't jumping around anymore. He doesn't have a smile on his
Yep.
face. He is dead serious. And when he threw the belt on Cody after he beat him up and put his foot on him and stood over him, that was some of the best work from John Cena I have seen in, I don't know, it's been a long time. Like, you could have even gone back to like early 2000s. Like, that was one of John Cena's best segments ever.
Yeah.
But that's because it is long term storytelling, not just in the sense that The Rock threw up the three or the best for business. This is long term storytelling in the sense of like he had so many chances to turn heel and he never once did it. But he wants 17 so bad because it is what is best for
Yep.
business that he is willing to do whatever it takes. And that's why the little kid in me hates this. Like I sit here right now, I dude, I was wearing my John Cena shirt, took it off, threw it off. I was so done with this. I was so pissed.
Amazing.
And then, but as a wrestling fan, which we both are, like I have two very different sides to my fandom. One of them is the little kid still that
Yep.
loves this and loves the characters and the storytelling. The other side is like, I get this now. Like I'm older. I understand it isn't as real as I once thought it was. Like this is an amazing heel turn. It is one of the best of all time. I love it. It is great storytelling. I mean, WrestleMania is going to be one for the ages now.
I'm so happy to hear you say that, you have those two sides of your fandom. Um, because I was going to appeal to the kid in you, Will, and I was thinking about it. It's almost like the Harry Potter books. Like when the Harry Potter books first came out, um, the kids were the age of Harry Potter in book one. By the time it's the last book, all of those kids have grown up together with Harry Potter. They're in a different place now than they were when they started in this kid's story. And I feel like this version of John Cena, for all of those kids that grew up with him, you're not a kid anymore. You're an adult now. So, with that progression of your life, with your life experience, and being able to see a deeper, richer story with your adult brain, that's what makes this version of John Cena so cool, especially
Yeah.
for like fans like you, because you went on that journey with him when you were a kid, but now as an adult, you can probably appreciate what this version of the character is going to give you because there's going to be a
Oh,
different element
absolutely.
to it than there was before. So anybody who is brokenhearted because John Cena can't be a heel, everybody can be a heel. And sometimes those are the best turns. I saw a great comment today that somebody had posted on a video. It said we were all expecting Homelander Cody, and we got Peacemaker Cena.
Yeah.
We didn't see it coming, and that's what makes it so good. And I'll also say this: we know that we have until December with John Cena. This is a chance for him to have a story arc until December. He made this heel turn now. How does he end it in December, coming out the other side as a face, putting somebody else over? I think we talked about it before that I joked that it would be funny if Cena put over like Dominic Mysterio because that's the kind of guy that John is. Like that's how you leave a legacy on your way out. You do the job and you put somebody else over. Now it doesn't need to be Dirty Dom, but at the same time, I think this is going to be fun to see how come December, especially if John goes over at WrestleMania, which now I almost think he has to at
Yeah.
this point.
Agreed.
Now, anybody who everybody be happy for Jey Uso and Gunther because there may not be too many happy endings with some of the other matches that we might get. But now we're going to be able to get all the way to December. What does he do at the end on his way out to get him back? You and I just reviewed WrestleMania 6 with our first retro rewatch. And in that one, we had Andre the Giant. Giant was working as a heel. His last pay per view match is in WrestleMania 6. And he can't work so much because he's in a lot of pain. But all he does is turn on Bobby Heenan at the end of that match. And he gets to ride off into the sunset as a babyface character again with everybody cheering. Same thing with Macho Man at WrestleMania 7 with Macho Man and Ultimate Warrior in that retirement match. Macho is the heel in that match, and by the end of it, when he's hugging Miss Elizabeth, he's a babyface, and everybody is losing their minds. So, for as awesome as this heel turn was for Cena, that babyface turn at the end in December could be something super special. That's what I'm excited for. Is this story now could really be something.
Yeah, 100% agree with you there. Um, do you think John's going over at Mania?
Yes, I do. I think he's going. Well, hold on, hold on. Let's back it up, Will, because I
Let
have
us.
something else that I texted you that I need to touch on for
Sure.
WrestleMania. Okay, you're the triple threat guy.
I
It's my job to talk you out of triple threats.
All right.
I am in love with the idea of CM Punk being in that triple threat match now. And I sent you a text last night when I felt like I was I was dipping my toe into the wrestling matrix.
Okay.
And what I came up with, because I'm so in love with this idea now. One, because now that John Cena is the heel, it changes the dynamic of what that match is going to be. So, what if we have CM Punk cashes in his favor with Paul Heyman? He wants to be in the main event at WrestleMania. He didn't win the chamber. How is this going to work? Well, Paul Heyman is Paul Heyman. He's the wise man. He can make things happen.
Hmm.
So what if he goes to The Rock and he says, "Rock, I need to get CM Punk into the main event. How can the final boss get him on that card?" And somehow what they come up with is Roman versus Rock, night one. What's on the line? If Roman wins, Punk gets to be on night two, and it turns into a triple threat match. Now, if you're the final boss, you have to be thinking, well, what does he get if he wins? He doesn't care if Punk doesn't get on there. I think he could have a very simple answer for Paul Heyman, what he would want in return if he beats Roman. Roman simply has to acknowledge him. That's it.
Mm,
Now you could still have
I like that.
Seth Rollins versus CM Punk night one.
Hmm.
The Rock can still say, "No, you still got to do business, Punk. You and Seth are going night one, and this gives Seth Rollins an added incentive on night one with his grudge match against CM Punk to not only beat CM Punk, but also try to break him. So even if Roman does win, he's not making it to that triple threat match."
Yep.
So now you have two huge storylines built into night one just to get you to night two, kind of what we did last year, where we had the tag team match that had implications on night two. So I feel like there could be an angle there that gets The Rock into WrestleMania, because Roman, we're not talking about him. He's got to get in. We have that favor. I feel like this would be a genius way to do it, and I'd be all for that triple threat match. I would even say in that scenario, you have Punk lose to Seth Rollins, and you have him in pretty bad shape going into night two in that triple threat match. Because now for night two, you just don't have the babyface and Cody. You don't just have the heel and John Cena. You have the wild card in CM Punk. And I think it makes that match more interesting, have more weight because of what happened in night one. Just throwing
Yeah.
it out there. I'm
I like
probably wrong. I'm usually not right about these things. Whatever wrestling matrix I go to isn't this current timeline, apparently.
So let me throw something different here at you.
Shoot.
So when he hit his little 1, 2, 3 in the ring at Bad Blood, who was in there? It was Cody, but it was also Roman Reigns. I don't think The Rock is done with Roman Reigns here. He's
No,
the final boss. He's coming for everyone. I think you get yourself in a world where CM Punk is on the stupid favor though. Gosh, he needs to
I
cash that
know,
in somehow.
I know.
So it's hard for me to believe with the curb stomp at Elimination Chamber that you do not get CM Punk, Seth Rollins at some point on that card.
Hmm.
I've seen a lot of people theorizing a tag team match between Cody and Roman versus The Rock and John Cena at night one. But we already did that stick.
That's
So
last year. Yeah.
I've seen all these different theories, and I saw Punk and Cody versus The Rock and John Cena, and that's the favor. And if they win that tag team match, that's how he gets into the WrestleMania main event.
Into the triple threat.
Yep.
Okay. So, okay.
I like that. I like all these different options. But you
Yeah.
want to know, I think I like yours the best, honestly. It gets everyone a piece of the pie. It's everyone's involved in this huge storyline, and that's kind of what we wanted, you
Right.
know. And we've kind of been figuring out a way how to book this for a long time. Because me and Brian love sitting here and talking about how we could book it better
Oh,
than these guys.
yeah.
Um,
Undertaker would hate it.
he would hate it. Oh my gosh, don't get me started on Taker. Taker hates wrestling fans trying to have fun booking. My bad, Taker. My bad.
We love you,
Um,
Taker.
yeah, we do. We do. We really do. Legend. Um, but man, I might need to start going around telling everyone that's what I think's gonna happen too. That sounds great. It really does. You got your main guys all getting a piece of the pie here.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's kind of, again, because I'm not the triple threat guy, but
Mhm.
after last night, especially with Cena and Punk, who were just baby facing it up the whole time,
Yeah,
except when Cena goes to do the other handshake, and then Punk takes advantage. But that's after they did the big hug and all that kind of stuff in the feel good moment. I think that's why that's starting to make sense now, because we have all these major storylines that are going on. You have CM Punk only wants a main event, and he has a favor to cash in. That we started that story back at War Games. You have Cena, who wants his 17th title, and he sold his soul to the devil now to do it. You have Cody, who's still just the ultimate baby face, who cemented himself now. I think that the go F yourself to The Rock was meant to be definitive, that this isn't going to be a fooled you later down the road that Cody's really working with The Rock. I feel like that was there to let us know he
yeah,
is the through and through baby face right now, that we're not getting heel Cody. So I feel like you have to find a way to get all those things in it. And then you have Seth Rollins again. He cost CM Punk the match, so that has to keep going. And CM Punk again, I feel like because he's doing such great work and mic work and telling his story, he's made it clear that it's all business to him, and not in the same way that The Rock means it. When Punk
Mhm.
says it, he's made it clear earlier in the year he's here to make money, and he's here to main event WrestleMania. So the grudge match that Seth Rollins has with him, just like Drew McIntyre, CM Punk seems disinterested in that personal feud aspect of it,
Yeah,
but Seth Rollins can't let it go. So that's why I felt like if you keep their match on night one, it really gives Seth Rollins something to fight for. That's not a championship. He's fighting to keep CM Punk from getting what he wants, which is that main event at WrestleMania. So I appreciate that you liked my wrestling matrix.
yeah. That was really good.
I
That
I
was really solid.
I think between the two scenarios that we gave, it feels more likely that maybe we're going down that triple threat route, and the
I
favor is
agree.
going to be cashed in somehow with that. And I also think that's how we have to get Rock and Roman involved. Again, we're not talking about Roman Reigns, and The Rock came out in full final boss regalia last night. he's getting in the ring. It feels like he's going to be in the ring at WrestleMania. They're slowly getting him more and more involved with the physicality.
Yeah.
That I feel like that's going to happen for sure. I have one question for you before
Sure.
I think we wrap this thing up. So what if Cody would have said yes?
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good.
Hmm.
I think, yeah, in that scenario, I think The Rock just kind of knows he's gonna say no because remember
Right?
on Friday he said, "Guys, The Rock is so crazy, man."
He
He said
is. Yeah.
he was talking to Dusty in the heavens. That's
Yes.
crazy, dude.
He's like, and he said, you've been talking to him too.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
He said so The Rock knows. The Rock knows what you're gonna say. He knows your
Yep.
soul. He knows what you're gonna do. So therefore, I think he's had this mapped out for quite a bit of time. So I mean, everything in wrestling is intentional. Me and you
Yeah.
both know that. Even all these little Easter eggs, that's why we're always looking for them. Um, so that right there, the fact he said he was talking to Dusty, I
Yeah.
mean, it must be why The Rock knew. He knew he had to call on John Cena.
I
Um,
mean, it's kind of amazing, when we're talking about this final boss character now, because I'm really starting to love it. Like all of the stuff that was irritating, I'm starting to see for what it is. Oh, it's supposed to be irritating. And it's because this dude is kind of crazy. Like this version of the character is just kind of nuts.
yeah, he
Like
is. It really is.
like he's got a dark side to him.
Mm,
Like he's doing a weight belt with the date that Dusty died, and it says
that's
Cody's soul.
nuts, dude.
Like,
That's crazy.
so, and if you go from the main event last year at WrestleMania on night one, where we keep talking about The Rock throwing his weight around that he can fire a referee, to now, they have totally taken that character from a bloodline character to an authority figure character, and they've done it really well because they've mixed Dwayne in with the final boss, and
Yeah.
I'm starting to see the genius of it. And yeah, that was just my one question: is what would have happened if Cody said yes? But my wife and I thought the same thing. The only thing that makes sense is that The Rock knew there's no way that
Yeah.
he's going to do this, and he really just wanted to mess with Cody Rhodes. That this was sweet, sweet revenge for him for last year for stealing the main event. Like, bravo. I'm all
Yeah.
in on this now. Stuff just got real. This story is getting fire now. I like where this is going.
Hey man, to build every great super baby face in the history of wrestling, they need this hard times, no pun intended, moment. And this is it for Cody right here. I believe he drops the belt at Mania. He will win it back from John
Yep.
Cena. But every super babyface like John Cena himself had to lose to Rocky at 28, came back and beat him for the title at 29.
Yep.
Like it's just what has to happen to these super baby faces. Man, is it real? Is it heating up? I mean, we got what, a handful of days left, less than a month and a half to Mania,
Yep.
and Brian's gonna be there. Who
I will be
knows?
there.
I
I will
just,
be there.
hey man, stay away from The Rock. You know he's looking for everybody's souls, man. Just take care of yourself out there, dude.
Hey, I I will be looking for The Rock. I will keep a safe distance away from him. I was going
Yeah,
to try to talk to John Cena, but I don't know if
no,
that's a good idea now. But me and Punk, I'm wearing the Blackhawks today for my
yeah,
guy
there we
CM
go.
Punk. Our guy Joe said CM Punk reminds him of me. Maybe that's why I like the guy so much. I do kind of
I
feel that.
see it. I
I
see
do
it.
kind of feel that. It's kind of an awesome going away swan song for John Cena, because John Cena, like you started this podcast today, when you were a kid, he was the ultimate baby face and he always has been. And the fact that he's literally, I think, with this story going forward to Cody getting that championship back from John Cena is passing that torch to that net. Like Cody is the next version of that John Cena.
Yeah,
He
he
is
is.
going to be
Absolutely.
the through and through baby face. And I'm not hating it that this is the way they're trying to tell us that story, because it'll be a fun ride with Cody trying to bring John Cena back to the light side. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is gonna be a man. The road to WrestleMania is starting and it is gonna be legit. I mean, I was sitting here telling you guys just last week to temper your expectations. Don't
Nope.
listen to me, guys. Don't listen to me on this booking stuff. I'm never right. It feels like, man,
No.
I guess I have no clue what I'm talking about, guys.
We are
But
the tinfoil hat bookers,
yeah, we
and I'm fine with that, because this is what makes wrestling fun, everybody. Trying to get these stories figured out and being surprised when they trick us, and seeing what the superstars can bring to the table to bring that
yeah.
story to life. And I think we got great people in position for this one. It's going to be a fun ride.
If you go all the way back to our first episode, from then to now, wrestling
Yep.
can change overnight. And this is just one of those moments we will always remember in wrestling. And it just changed the whole landscape because the face of WWE, really, to this day still, John Cena, the ultimate good guy. Like he was even like before the pay-per-view doing
Yes.
wishes. Like he was I'm like, and then he goes out there and he turns heel. In wrestling, sometimes you get caught off guard with something. I've never been this caught off guard. So kudos to Triple H and all the bookers that are much better at their job than I am, because I can't book anything, but I'm out here trying, I guess. Our next video is going to be our Elimination Chamber review, the full thing, not just this segment, but this segment once in a lifetime stuff here. We
Yeah,
had to
this
get
was
a
breaking
full
news.
video out on this. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Brian, you got anything else for him?
Just do what the final boss has been telling us, and let just go on the ride that The Rock is
Yep.
taking us
Enjoy
on.
the ride.
Everybody should head over to the Realm Paranormal Podcast. Swing over there on YouTube. You guys can catch our live investigation. We had a almost 4-hour live investigation the other night from the gang over in Ireland in haunted Ross Castle. So that's still up. You missed the live broadcast, but go back and watch it now. It's actually really good. We had a lot of activity that is worth taking a look at. So if you guys are into it, go over to the Realm Paranormal Podcast. Check out our live investigation. It's pretty awesome. But that's all I got, Will. You got anything else?
I got nothing, man. And let's enjoy the ride to WrestleMania together, guys.
Absolutely. All right. I'm Brian. He's Will. We'll catch you next time on WWR Podcast. Peace.
Love you guys. See you. Yeah, we're kind of like the Otis and Tozawa of
Yes.
like
Yeah.
of booking wrestling
Yes.
matches and booking these feuds.
Yes. Oh,
Like in the grand
good.
scheme of things, we still might get our first like blue sky bookings, right? But we are
I
so
know.
wrong in the way we get there.
Yes.
We
It's
are
so true.
so wrong. It is just